Woman will be a major party's nominated.
Every single online vote.
Live from the College of Journalism and Mass Communications at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, Star City News presents Decision 2016.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on Star City News. I'm Dwayne Taylor.
And I'm Bailey Hurley. Lancaster County began its track to reach the highest voter turnout in history this morning. With 189,000 registered voters, election officials are optimistic about the results.
Those results are bolstered by absentee ballots, which also are breaking a record of their own. Lancaster County Election Commissioner David Shively projects there will be over 3,000 more early voter requests than last election. He also notes that although Nebraska is seen as a red state, it might not stay that way in the coming years.
Certainly there's a possibility. The one thing that we're seeing is a lot more people that are registering as nonpartisan or independent. We have probably one of the largest numbers of people registered today as libertarian registered voters than we had since I've been here in this office, which is 17 years, and so that's a little bit of a change. So we'll see what happens in the next, next 4 or 5 years, and see what we have in the next presidential election.
The death penalty is a topic that was hotly contested in this election cycle. Star City's Joe Harris is live with more on the story.
Union, 2 Republican senators debated the death penalty, which Nebraska voters will decide whether to keep or abolish this November.
I believe the system is not broken.
In his opening statement of the October 25th debate, Senator Bo McCoy, who supports the death penalty, said he believes the system still works because Nebraska has managed to execute 3 people, even after the U.S. Supreme Court struck down the death penalty for all 50 states in 1972. Senator Colby Kowash opposes the death penalty and said those who support executions haven't shown in 20 years the system can work, despite lawmakers passing bills in the 90s that sped up the execution process. He said the death penalty system isn't fair to victims' families.
Where is the justice in a system that says it's going to do something and then never does it?
The senators also fielded questions from the audience. Paul Smith, a Lincoln Southeast teacher, asked Senator McCoy how he would feel if Nebraska potentially executed an innocent person. McCoy said Nebraska has the appeals process and Supreme Court oversight to make sure they don't execute innocents.
We should be only executing those that we have an absolute highest possible degree of certainty that are guilty for the crimes that they've been convicted for. That bar should be very high.
Senator Kowash said the death penalty's history in the United States shows justice hasn't always been fair, and there have been dozens of men on death row who were found innocent within only weeks of being executed. He said such close calls would make him nervous about future executions in Nebraska. Now, Senator McCoy said despite any disagreements people may have on the issue, the most important thing is that Nebraskans get out and vote on November 8th. Reporting for Star City News, I'm Joe Harris.
Local business leaders gathered a week ago to discuss a topic that is being voted on today.
The Southeast Community College has proposed a $390 million bond to help with expansion and retaining staff. Star City's Michael Snow has more.
Imperative that we invest in our education through technology, training, and facilities. And so Duncan Aviation certainly behind this effort and look forward to this expansion as well.
A big concern for those opposed to the bond is the increase in property taxes that will take place to fund the program.
We're trying to reform property taxes. This is taking them the other direction, going up. It would be a 50% increase in the taxes that SEC is collecting, and that's just huge and unsustainable.
Douglas Curry, a member of the board to support the bond, says this is an extremely cheap investment that will pay off exponentially in the future.
We all have an obligation to educate those who are behind us, that our children certainly, and we do that, but as a society we need to make sure that people have those educational opportunities. The value that they're going to get for their less than $40 a year on a $100,000 value is incredible, and the education that will come from those farms and go back to those farms will make better farmers of everybody.
While it's a small tax hike, at just $40 a year on a property valued at $100,000, a little increase makes a big difference.
Some farmers are, especially retired farmers, or even having to sell property in order to pay property taxes.
The tax bond would allow Southeast Community College to reach parts of Nebraska that it currently can't and allow students to get an education after high school that they may not have gotten otherwise.
Principally in the rural areas where they've not had the closeness to education at the secondary or post-high school level that now they will be able to have through the service centers that will exist in each of those counties.
Reporting for Star City News, Michael Snow.
A head-on collision near Waverly killed 2 people and critically injured a third on Sunday night. Police say both drivers, 44-year-old Jeffrey Goatmoller and 29-year-old Stephen Creason, died at the scene. Goatmoller's wife suffered serious injuries and is currently still in the hospital, but their 2 children who were also in the car did not. Police are still investigating what caused the crash, but say alcohol has been factored out. And a 40-year-old Lincoln woman is in jail after police say they found more than 140 grams of meth, an assortment of prescription pills, and about $9,000 in her car. Investigators say they received a tip Joy Bradford would be dealing a large amount of meth in the 5900 block of Havelock Avenue Friday night. Officers surveyed the area and stopped Bradford after she failed to signal a turn. A search of her car turned up 8 bags of meth and a long laundry list of other hard drugs. Bradford was arrested on suspicion of possession of meth with intent to deliver and possession of drug money. And a new development in a bizarre northeast Nebraska homicide case. Dakota County Attorney Kim Watson says more human remains were found Saturday in a creek about 4 miles away from where body parts were found on Thursday. Police charged 25-year-old Andre Serber and 18-year-old Brian Galvin Hernandez Friday with first-degree murder in the death of 41-year-old Craig Kubik. They are being held on $5 million bonds each.
Sentencing for a 21-year-old Omaha woman who bore a child after having sex with a 13-year-old boy is set for December. Police say Brianna McIntosh was 19 in May 2014 when she had sex with the boy. McIntosh pled no contest to felony sexual assault of a child and intentional child abuse. State authorities have placed the child with the boy's grandmother, who is helping the now 16-year-old father raise him. And UNL Chancellor Ronnie Green sent out an email yesterday afternoon giving a warning to staff and students to be prepared for Red Letter Day. The annual event gets prospective high school students on campus to help them decide if Nebraska is the best place for their next 4 years. Green says over 4,000 students will be on campus and to expect longer lines at dining halls and food courts, the Union, and to be on high alert for pedestrians if driving. Coming up next on Star City News, we'll check in with the different debates that are happening around Lincoln.
Welcome to the Adele Coryell Hall Learning Commons. This new addition will soon become the scholastic hub of City Campus. Enjoy the vibrant learning environment designed to accommodate and promote academics. The Commons also has a number of private study rooms to gather and collaborate with classmates and friends. Come visit the Adele Coryell Hall Learning Commons at Love Library today.
One wrong choice can make you feel like the walls are closing in. Sometimes, you don't know where to turn. Student Legal Services is here for you when those situations strike. SLS attorneys offer free legal advice and representation to registered UNL students. Don't let one wrong decision ruin your future plans. Contact Student Legal Services at 402-472-3350 or visit our office at the UNL Student Union.
The College of Journalism and Mass Communications is the perfect place for higher learning. Students have the chance to study journalism, broadcast journalism, and add PR. Our distinguished students have the best possible resources with equipment, professors, and internships. Coming soon is the first of its kind, Interactive Digital Media Hub. The future is bright at the CoJMC. Why not make yours too? Enroll today. Visit journalism.unl.edu.
In 2012, the national percentage of adults reporting that they drank too much alcohol before driving was 1.9%. In that same year, Nebraska adults reported 3.4%, nearly twice as much as the national average. People know they shouldn't drive, yet they still do. People go out and plan on coming back home. But as we all know, everything doesn't always go as planned. Inform those around you about the risks of drunk driving.
On October 4th, vice presidential candidates came together for their lone debate of the season.
While there weren't as many fireworks as the presidential debates, there was still plenty to unpack from the Virginia senator and the Indiana governor. Star City's Tommy Razach recaps the exchange.
We have an enthusiastic audience tonight. They've agreed to only express that enthusiasm once at the end of the debate, and right now, as we welcome Governor Mike Pence and Senator Tim Kaine.
The first and only vice presidential debate of 2016 was held on October 4th at Longwood University in Farmville, Virginia, moderated by Elaine Kahano of CBS News. But there was no moderation on the number of interruptions.
Let me talk about this
Senator,
issue.
I think I'm still on my time.
Well, I think, isn't this a discussion?
This is our open discussion.
Let's talk about the state of...
But when the dialogue was coherent, Senator Kaine wasted no time going after Donald Trump and consistently challenged Governor Pence to stand by his running mate.
Governor Pence had to give Donald Trump his tax returns to show he was qualified to be vice president. Donald Trump must give the American public his tax returns to show that he's qualified to be president.
Critics say Pence struggled to defend Trump, but the governor's calm tone and delivery amongst interruptions and accusations worked to his advantage.
Donald Trump and I are going to make sure that law enforcement have the resources and the tools to be able to really restore law and order to the cities and communities of this nation.
A CNN poll shows that 48% of those who watched the VP debate believe Trump's running mate was the winner. But UNL political science professor John Hibbing believes there was no clear victor.
I think Kaine was trying to be somebody he's not, because by all accounts he's quite a nice guy, and I think he was supposed to come out and really put Pence on the defensive. So stylistically, I think Pence won. In terms of the larger picture, I think it wasn't a big victory for either side.
News radio personality Kevin Thomas says while Pence struggled to defend Trump's actions, his composure and experience helped him throughout.
Mike Pence won almost in spite of Donald Trump because he had a hard time defending and at times ignored Donald Trump's record, but availed himself very well. I mean, he's a seasoned politician. He's a talk radio host in his past as well, so he knows how to debate.
The VP debate seemed a little messy at times. ABC News counted 70 interruptions from Senator Kaine and 40 more from Governor Pence. While it seems this debate will have little impact on the general election and had 47 million less viewers than Clinton versus Trump, it's still important to know what qualifications the vice president has. In U.S. history, 14 of them have served as commander-in-chief. And if Trump were elected at the age of 70, he'd be the oldest president to ever take office. If Clinton were elected at age 69, she'd be the second oldest. In Lincoln, Tommy Razach for Star City News.
This has been a heated election with a lot of controversy, including during the debates.
Star City's Leanna Prill has more on the Republican debate watch party.
Over 200 people flooded Big Fred's restaurant in Omaha last night to support Donald Trump. The crowd ranged from 7-year-olds to adults, hopeful for Trump's remarks.
I want to see the two separate themselves, and of course I'm on the side of Trump. I want to see him advance and be himself, yet also be presidential. And I want to see Hillary collapse.
Among an energetic crowd were public officials who also weighed in after the debate.
I think the things that concern me most is a stagnant business economy with regulations and taxes, our $19.5 trillion debt, and this war on terror that's gone backwards. I think the policies coming from Hillary Clinton exacerbate that and make it worse.
John Sealer, executive director for the Douglas County Republican Party, also remained positive after the debate, seeing Donald Trump as the clear victor.
Well, obviously, I thought Donald Trump had a big victory. He did a great job. I was very pleased.
Well, the pizza is gone, the chairs are up, the people have left, and the debate is done. And after speaking to Trump supporters, they say that he fared well under criticism and questions. Reporting in Omaha, I am Leanna Prill with Star City News.
Now, Nebraska isn't the only state that's seen shifting politics in 2016. Many other states across the country have shaped up as battlegrounds in the presidential race.
Let's head upstairs to Matt Rigby with more in front of the electoral map.
All right, Bailey and Dwayne, thank you very much. The key part of the puzzle in any presidential race is the electoral map. The first candidate to cross over the 270 vote threshold tonight will be named the next president of the United States of America. And while we'll be taking a look at all the states throughout the country tonight, there are a couple states in particular in the Deep South that we'll be watching from the get-go. The first of those states is all the way down here in Florida. As you can see, Florida carries a pretty rich vote total of 29. And then as we move up the seaboard to North Carolina, we see that the victor of the Tar Heel state will bring home 15 votes as well. Polling between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton has been neck and neck over the past 2 weeks in those two states, and both campaigns have put a lot of resources into bringing those two states home. The outcome in those two states tonight should tell us a lot about how the remainder of the night will play out. Bailey and Dwayne, back to you guys.
Thanks, Matt. A town of 8 residents kicked off Election Day this morning. Dixville Notch, New Hampshire, placed 4 votes for Hillary, 2 votes for Donald, 1 vote for Gary Johnson, and a surprise write-in vote for Mitt Romney. The town has predicted the results of 3 of the last 4 elections, giving Hillary supporters a boost of confidence at the polls. And people are flocking to Rochester, New York to pay homage to women's suffrage movement leader Susan B. Anthony. Citizens have lined up to place their I voted stickers on her gravestone, a gesture that emphasizes progress made since the early 1800s when women were not allowed to vote. That gesture has extra weight with Hillary Clinton being the first woman presidential nominee up for election tonight. We're going to go to Brett Nierengarten live in the newsroom for a preview of what's to come in tonight's election newscast.
Thanks, Bailey and Dwayne. Now, I'll be out here all night in the Star City newsroom, but I won't be alone. We'll have several reporters out here, and we'll be going through all of the key issues of this election cycle, which means in Nebraska, we'll have a lot to talk about with the death penalty, but that's not all we'll be discussing. We'll have our eyes on all of the local races, as well as a look at how UNL students are voting. Be sure to tune in to Star City News' live election coverage beginning at 8 p.m. this evening.
Look for a way to give back to the community. The Nebraska's Humane Society Pelock Pet Adoption Center is located off of 70th Street and Highway 2. The Capital Humane Society is always looking for cat, dog, and critter lovers to help comfort and play with the animals as they find their forever homes. Stop in or go to www.capitalhumanesociety.org to learn how you can give back to the community today.
Well, happy Election Day. I'll tell you what, the weather should not have played any role in you not getting out and voting today. It's been absolutely gorgeous all across the nation, and especially right here In Nebraska, it is currently 61 degrees under sunny, clear conditions right now. A little bit of a breeze out of the north at 15 miles an hour, but we've been nice and dry throughout the day. We saw that cloud cover kind of move out of the region this morning rather than yesterday. Kept temperatures about seasonal. If we look at our almanac, we can see just how close to average they were. We were still above average by about 6 degrees, but we are seeing temperatures start to trend closer to that average temperature, so starting to feel a little bit more fall-like right now. And today's actually been a great day for dry as well. It hasn't been any rain really anywhere. The only rainfall we've actually seen throughout much of the day is across the Ohio River Valley in Ohio, as well as Illinois and Indiana, and then also in Texas. But notice how much of the United States is under high pressure system. A lot of dry conditions, especially out on the East Coast as well. It's been a great day. It hasn't probably going to affect voter turnout very much at all. If we look now right back at home, you can see the temperatures this evening are going to drop pretty low, 32 degrees this evening. It's going to be a clear night, but it's going to be pretty nice. No any rain or anything like that to factor in. Wind going to be out of the north at 5 miles an hour. And then for tomorrow, it's going to be much like we saw today, 64 degrees under sunny skies. It's going to be a nice day. Now for the 7-day forecast, if we look, we can see that on Thursday, we do have a warm up on the way, 69 degrees for a high. And then as we start to finish out the work week on Friday, 60 degrees on Friday. And then notice for your weekend, cooling off for that Husker game day on Saturday, 59 degrees. And then on Sunday, it's going to be a little bit warmer at 66. And then the early look at your work week next week, starting off into the mid 60s. Overall looking good. Tonight, looking great for anybody that wants to get out and do some last minute voting. Going to be nice and clear and cool.
So now, can we take away from the election for a second? My birthday's on Friday. Is it going to be like a warm 60, a cool 60? Got an outfit plan here.
Okay, all right. What do you got for the outfit plan?
A dress, is that okay?
You'll be fine.
All right.
Hey, that's all we can ask for. Coming up next on Star City News, we've got an update on Tommy Armstrong's condition after the Ohio State game.
And the women's soccer team is headed to the NCAA tournament. Michael Dixon has all that and more next with sports.
One wrong choice can make you feel like the walls are closing in. Sometimes, you don't know where to turn. Student Legal Services is here for you when those situations strike. SLS attorneys offer free legal advice and representation to registered UNL students. Don't let one wrong decision ruin your future plans. Contact Student Legal Services at 402-472-3350 or visit our office at the UNL Student Union.
Look for a way to give back to the community. The Nebraska's Humane Society Pelock Pet Adoption Center is located off of 70th Street and Highway 2. The Capital Humane Society is always looking for cat, dog, and critter lovers to help comfort and play with the animals as they find their forever homes. Stop in or go to www.capitalhumanesociety.org to learn how you can give back to the community today.
Welcome back to Election Day here on Star City News. I'm Michael Dixon with a quick look at the world of sports. Nebraska quarterback Tommy Armstrong is day-to-day after a scary injury that took him off of the field and to the hospital in an ambulance on Saturday night. In the second quarter of Nebraska's blowout loss to Ohio State, Armstrong was upended near the sidelines and landed directly on his head. He briefly lost consciousness and was stretchered off before heading to the hospital. Armstrong didn't return to the stadium later that night and will be reevaluated for concussion-like symptoms ahead of the upcoming game against Minnesota on Saturday. And with politics flying around left and right, were you still ready for some football last night? It was the Bills and the Seahawks from Seattle on Monday Night Football. We start with the first play of the second quarter. Russell Wilson drops back, and look at this pitch and catch with Jimmy Graham. An unbelievable play. One more look at it. Graham shakes the defender, makes the one-handed touchdown grab, and gets both feet in the end zone to tie the game at 14. Bills would take the lead, but not before Christine Michael walks in for his 6th rushing touchdown of the year. That gives the Seahawks the lead again. Then last chance for the Bills, 4th and goal from the 15 with just 20 seconds left. Tyrod Taylor rolls out, looks towards the end zone, but his pass falls incomplete. Pete Carroll loves it. The Seahawks improved to 5-2 after a Monday night thriller against the Buffalo Bills. And Nebraska soccer is headed to the big dance for the first time since 2013. The Huskers were selected as an at-large bid Sunday afternoon and will host the South Dakota State Jackrabbits at Hibner Stadium Friday night at 7 p.m. That's all I've got for sports, but see which celebrities have casted their ballots today. Carly has that and more in entertainment after the break.
Welcome to the Adele Coryell Hall Learning Commons. This new addition will soon become the scholastic hub of City Campus. Enjoy the vibrant learning environment designed to accommodate and promote academics. The Commons also has a number of private study rooms to gather and collaborate with classmates and friends. Come visit the Adele Coryell Hall Learning Commons at Love Library today.
Welcome back. I'm Carly Jensen with your latest in entertainment. And everybody's out at the polls today, and celebrities who are just like us obviously were at the voting booths too. Yes, the stars even get that cute little I voted sticker, and they just love showing them off. Eva Longoria, Lionel Richie, and Mario Lopez are teaching us how to model the sticker. And other celebs like Beyonce, Katy Perry, and Justin Timberlake document themselves literally at the polls. Just getting their fans out to vote is the mission for Gaga, Miss Kendall Jenner, and Rob Lowe. Many other celebrities are pushing the Go Vote message, and two celebrities who strongly want you to vote are our candidates. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump themselves both have already voted and now wait to see the country's decision. England's Prince Harry won't be voting in today's historic election, but he does have a big announcement of his own. The royal isn't a bachelor anymore. Harry confirmed he is dating actress Meghan Markle, but in his recent statement, he also addressed all the attention his leading lady is getting. Some of this attention, Harry says, is harming Markle and her well-being. He is asking all media to respect her as a person. He says the sexist and racist comments need to stop. And up next, Monica will have a little bit more on social media for you.
What would we do if we won the Powerball jackpot?
That's daunting to think about.
The music may change, but we'll still be there. Music, sports, and more. 90.3 KRNU.
Welcome back. I'm Monica Lopez with the latest in social media. Sometimes the only solution to this election may be moving into our friendly neighbor up north, and people are writing all over it on Twitter. They're voicing their concerns over the election, saying, if it doesn't go their way, hey, make some room, Canada. Some tweets include, so who's moving to Canada with me after the election? And anybody moving to Canada? Victoria, British Columbia is beyond beautiful. Vancouver's really nice too. Come on, people. Canada is nearing its capacity, so why not head down south and drink some amazing pina coladas? And while some people are trying to escape the election process, there are others who are making sure their voice is being heard. Colorado woman Sosha Adelstein unexpectedly went into labor 4 days before the election day. Fearing of not getting her vote in time, Adelstein and her husband made a quick pit stop to Boulder's County Clerk's office to drop off her ballot while in labor. Gotta give this props to this pretty mama for doing her civic duty. And that's all for social media. Bailey and Dwayne, back to you.
Hey, thanks for joining us. My name's Dwayne Taylor.
And I'm Bailey Hurley, and we'll be back at 8 o'clock with all your election coverage until the last polls are counted. Tune us in at 8. Thanks.